Hi, I'm Stacey Maor, and I am here today to talk about my top 5 tips for songwriting. I've released 10 songs to Spotify, so I've actually finished and recorded and released songs as well. So, really getting them over the finish line because writing is one step and then finishing is another. So, today I'm just going to talk about creating the song from the beginning and getting something on paper or something recorded so that you can go back to that. The first tip, number one, is use emotion. So the first thing you need to do is when you're sitting down to write your song is think about what is the emotion that you want to share with your audience and what do you want to include in this song. And it can be about a bad breakup, it can be the biggest love of your life, it can be, a fun time that you had on a vacation and you want to sing about that. So think about what that emotion is before you start the song because it will really help you as you're developing it. Number two tip is to be okay with being strange and unique. And I had recently, just yesterday, I was writing a song and the word speedometer came to mind, which may not be that common of a word to include in a song, but it seemed kind of fun. So I just left it. And oddly enough, I went back to editing it and was practicing it. And I thought maybe I should change this to accelerator. And that didn't make a lot of sense either. But eventually I'll get to the right word, but maybe I'll just leave it as speedometer because that's okay. So be unique, be strange. You want people to remember your song, and sometimes that strange word will stick out in people's mind. Tip number 3 is keep it simple. And just the reason I say this is because my background is actually, I have a degree in mechanical engineering, and I learned that you need to keep it simple, stupid was a phrase I used a lot because sometimes people overcomplicate solving problems or solutions for things and they make things too fancy and complicated. And so I bring this, it's called Keep It Simple, Stupid KISS method. And I use that for this as well, because if you keep it simple, you'll actually be able to achieve something with it and hopefully achieve your goal of writing your song. And to keep it simple, you need to just use 2 or 3 chords. Keep it just basics, things that you can achieve, chords that you can play. And then as you go on in your songwriting journey, you'll be able to expand and add more to your repertoire and have more options for chords. But Bob Dylan used 3 chords in a lot of his songs, and many other, especially in early career musicians, use just a few chords because this is what they have and they're able to play. Because this is another thing to think about. If it's something you can play, then you'll actually be able to sing your song through and be able to play it for other people. If you make it too complicated, you won't be able to play it. So that's really important. Tip number 4 is might be a bit controversial. So my tip 4 is use your ear. So your ear is your best friend when you're writing songs. And the reason I say this is because your goal is to make it sound good for other people. And you can take all the music theory you want into consideration, but it's you're really trying to engage an audience or make the audience hear you. And if you're just sticking to the music theory, it might not achieve your goal. So I'm more in the have a that the idea that your ear is your best compass for whether this song is sounding good or not. And you'll need that a lot because you'll need to know, do these chords going from one chord to the next sound good? Does this, am I singing high or low? Does that sound good? Does, which tone you're singing and then what you're playing on the guitar or ukulele or whatever instrument, how does that sound in comparison? And so you need to start working on listening to your ear. That is the best advice I can give on songwriting. Tip number 5 is actually in 2 parts. So there's this idea as you're writing songs, you need to write something down so you know what you're playing so you can come back to that and review it later. So writing down which chords you're playing, which order, which, how does the melody go? You need to capture all of that. And so the chords and also the words that you're singing and when you're changing from one chord to the next in your progress in your song. So if you're going to sing speedometer, are you changing to another chord when you start singing speedometer or halfway through the word because it's a long word? So think about that as you're putting together your song. Where is that spot that you're changing from one chord to another? And that is going to serve you well as you're uh, developing your songs. And sort of a second element of item 5, which is the capturing your song essentially, is record the song in a way that you can listen to it later. So you can do a recording on GarageBand, you can record it on your phone just in a short video with the audio, you have the audio there that you can capture. And then what you're going to do is now you've recorded it, then you can go back and listen to it away from, you're just listening to it as you're playing it. And then you can be more objective on whether it sounds good or not and what improvements you might want to make. So those are my 5 tips. Just to summarize again: 1, use emotion. 2, be strange, use strange words. 3, keep it simple, stupid, and keep the number of chords simple. 4, use your ear as your compass for whether the song sounds good or not. And 5 is make sure that you record what you're writing because you'll need to listen to that later. So from here, I hope that this list of tips was helpful for you for songwriting. And please subscribe to my channel as I will continue to have more beginner type videos and tips for not only songwriting, I also have some information about an overall musical journey. Thanks.